Hello, my name is Alexandria Cook. I am a student at the Stephen F. Austin Arthur Temple College of Forestry and Agriculture, and today I'll be going over my risk assessment of Loblolly pine during the winter storm using visual and unmanned aerial reading systems. Just a little bit of background information on this project. We had a major storm event here in Nacogdoches, Texas from February 14th of 2021 to February 19th of 2021. With record-breaking lows of -3 degrees Fahrenheit and highest total recorded snow and ice fall during the event, this was one of the most drastic, severe, and historic winter events we had seen this far south, and especially in East Texas. During the week of the winter storm, we had continuous warming and cooling patterns as the day progressed and heated, but staying below that 32 degrees freezing point. For the research specimens that we'll be focusing on in this presentation, it's going to be our loblolly pine and our slash pine, which is found around the Arthur Temple College Forestry building. And before the winter storm had happened, we had previous hazard rating of each tree, and these hazard ratings are important to determine what the value of these trees are in terms of monetary value. For these, we were measuring the crown, structure, and pest. Pests can range from a lot of things, but the focus will be going over here in this presentation. Mostly is going to be on our Ibis beetle, but signs of red imported fire ants and southern pine beetle, as we are in a range where we are susceptible of getting an outbreak. For Ibis beetles specifically, we are looking at the three major ones that are found here in the southern U.S., which is the Ibis volsus, Ibis calligrippus, and Ibis granicollis. And Ibis, and especially southern pine beetle, black turpentine beetle, are drawn to tree damage or tree stress. So any sort of high times of stress will send a signal, sort of say, to these insects, and they will create their infestation from there. Going over the methodology of this project, it was pretty straightforward. For our project, we labeled each tree between 179 only for our softwood pine species, which is the two I had listed before. And for this, we had each tree have its own hazard rating that was recorded before the storm, and keep track of that and using it as a reference for post-storm ratings. For that, we did it on multiple months to go across, so that way we were able to see the change in progression of these trees' health and to see if there's anything that we need to do to continue the monitoring. Besides our ground observations for our hazard ratings, we also use drones, and specifically we use the Mavic Mini 2, which is our little workhorse drone here at the university. We use those to collect nadir and oblique points of each tree so that we were able to see any other missing branches or infestations or browning of the crown that we might have not been able to see on the ground. For this, we use our nadir points to upload into our GIS to create feature points. And in these feature points, each point was associated to that particular tree will have a set of metadata. And that metadata has all the hazard ratings and photos connected to each one. So we are able to look back and see the trend of what that tree health is doing. We broke down the results based off of two factors of visual and statistical. Our visual results showed that there was signs of distress in the trees, fading of crowns, which could be signs of pests, and additional signs of pests such as pitch tubes, dying limbs, and falling needles, but also a complete removal of a tree. Our statistical change showed that there was change along the crown, structure, and pests shown here on the histograms. Each histogram shows the trend of our results based off of the rating categories that we have assigned from our hazard rating procedures. Over time, from pre-storm to post-storm 3, for our hazard rating, everything had decreased, showing that there was a sign of statistical change over the trees based off of our hazard ratings. After a year of monitoring, several pine trees showed signs of infection throughout the year, mainly from imp beetles. This resulted in pruning of limbs and complete removal of a tree host. Drones in the study were part of a bigger picture in terms of wanting more use of it in our forest management, and especially in our urban forest management. This will help us greatly in terms of making better decisions for forest health and monitoring, as we do not need as many people to be out on the ground looking for these infections. Instead, we can use a inexpensive drone and fly it to observe our properties around us to see if there's any sort of pest, and we can do it in real time. By uploading all of this information, we're able to keep a digital record of all of our hazard rating and the images associated with each tree to iNaturalist to keep an observational record of each time it was recorded and to what year it was recorded, and to make better decisions for our better forest health management. Thank you and have a good day.